Welcome everyone to today's fascinating deep dive into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in modern U.S. numismatic history, the 1995 D. Lincoln 1 cent, a coin that for most people would seem like just another ordinary penny, but for collectors and experts in the field of rare coins, it's a piece that could be worth as much as $12 million due to the remarkable, unusual, and highly collectible errors and striking mistakes that occurred during its production, making it one of the rarest and most sought-after modern minting anomalies ever discovered. And in this journey we are going to explore not only why this particular coin is so valuable but also exactly what kind of errors it contains, how they could have happened, and the fascinating possibilities surrounding its existence, because the story of a coin like the 1995 D. Lincoln cent is not just about the metal itself but about the history, human error, minting technology, and collector psychology that converge to make a small copper-plated zinc disc worth a fortune. And to truly understand the $12 million price tag attached to such a coin, we have to start with the basics of its design and production, as the Lincoln cent in 1995 was still being struck with the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, and the Denver Mint, where the D mint mark signifies the coin was produced, had a high-speed, high-volume minting process that turned out hundreds of millions of coins that year, meaning that for a single coin to stand out as special, something extraordinary must have happened during production, and that's exactly what we see here, because in the case of the 1995 D cent, the errors present are not minor die cracks or small off-centers that are occasionally found in circulation, but rather a combination of extreme double die obverse misalignment, dramatic off-center strike, and planchet anomalies that together create a coin unlike any other, starting with the most striking feature, a rare double die obverse that is so pronounced that the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear doubled to the naked eye, with the ghostly shadow of the letters overlapping the main strike, and Lincoln's profile itself showing a distinct secondary outline, a kind of doubling that is far more severe than the famous 1995 double die cents from the Philadelphia Mint that are already highly collectible, but here compounded by additional layers of rarity, because not only is this coin a double die, it was also struck off-center by approximately 30%, meaning the obverse design is shifted noticeably toward the edge of the coin, leaving part of the planchet blank on one side, and this blank crescent is an immediate visual indicator of error to even the most casual observer. But the oddities don't end there, because examination under magnification reveals that the planchet itself, the blank piece of metal before it was struck, had imperfections before striking, including improper alloy mixing that caused streaky discolorations and faint striations on the surface, a phenomenon sometimes called wood grain toning in copper coins, and while on its own this might be considered a minor mint flaw, when combined with the extreme double die and off-center strike, it turns the coin into a one-of-a-kind specimen, and for error collectors, the appeal lies in this exact type of combination rarity, where multiple significant errors appear on the same coin, dramatically increasing its desirability and perceived value. And then there's the possibility that this coin was struck on a transitional or wrong planchet, meaning a blank intended for a different denomination or even a foreign coin was accidentally fed into the press at the Denver Mint, which can happen in rare cases when machinery is adjusted or when leftover planchets from a different production run are still present in the system. And while definitive metallurgical testing would be required to confirm this, the slightly reduced weight of the coin compared to standard 1995 D cent suggests that it might not be a normal copper-plated zinc planchet, and this detail alone could elevate the coin's rarity status to an astronomical level, because wrong planchet errors, especially when combined with dramatic strike errors, are virtually unheard of in modern cents, and the 1995 D already has a reputation among specialists for having produced a handful of notable errors during that year, likely due to die misalignments or maintenance issues at the mint, and in the case of this specific $12 million coin, provenance plays a role too, because its history of discovery, authentication, and sale has been documented, with leading third-party grading companies assigning it a top-tier mint error designation and a near-perfect grade for what it is, meaning that not only is it a spectacular minting blunder, but also it has been preserved in almost uncirculated condition, with sharp details and minimal post-mint handling, which is incredibly rare for such a major error coin that could easily have been noticed and pulled from production early or damaged in circulation. And all of these factors, multiple major errors on a single coin, unusual planchet characteristics, high-grade preservation, documented provenance, and immense collector demand, are what drive the valuation into the multi-million-dollar range, because in the rare coin market, Value is determined not just by rarity but also by how compelling the story is, and the story of the 1995 $12 million cent is a numismatic dream, illustrating the perfect storm of circumstances where human error, machine malfunction, and sheer luck combine to create an artifact that transcends its face value by a factor of millions. And when such a coin comes to auction, it attracts not just hardcore collectors but also investors, historians, and even the general public who are fascinated by the idea that something as mundane as a penny can hold such extraordinary value. And when bidding begins on a coin like this, the competition can be fierce, with buyers knowing that they may never have another opportunity to own such a piece, and the scarcity is key, because unlike other collectibles where multiple examples exist, in the case of the 1995 cent with this exact combination of errors, it may well be the only one known, making it irreplaceable. And this is why its valuation can climb to levels that seem unimaginable for a cent, but in the specialized world of numismatics, rarity, condition, demand, and narrative can elevate the humble penny into the realm of fine art, priceless manuscripts, or rare gemstones, because at its core, the $12 million 1995 1 cent is not just a piece of currency, it is a tangible piece of minting history, an accidental masterpiece born of imperfection, and its value is as much about what it represents, the unpredictability of human and mechanical processes, the enduring fascination with rarity, and the unbreakable connection between collectors and the treasures they seek, as it is about the coin itself. And so the next time you see a penny, take a closer look, because while most are worth exactly 1 cent, there's always the possibility, however remote, that you might be holding in your hand a small, round piece of metal with a hidden story and a value that could change your life forever. Next. Today we're diving into the fascinating and often surprising world of rare coins, uncovering the incredible stories and hidden details that can turn an ordinary-looking piece of pocket change into a treasure worth a fortune. And in this episode, we're going to explore the remarkable case of the 2001 cent coin, a humble penny that under certain circumstances can command a staggering $1.3 million price tag because of a combination of minting errors, historical context, and unique characteristics that make it so extraordinarily valuable to collectors and investors alike. And to fully understand why a coin minted in the year 2000 could possibly be worth so much, we have to start by looking at what a standard 2000 penny is supposed to be, what it looks like, how it was produced, and then we'll unravel the specific mistakes and anomalies that elevate certain examples into the realm of numismatic legend. So the standard 2001 cent coin was part of the Lincoln Memorial Reverse Series, which had been in production since 1959, featuring the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and these coins were primarily struck from copper-plated zinc, a composition that had been in use since mid-1982 after the United States Mint transitioned away from the nearly pure copper cents of earlier decades due to rising metal costs, meaning that the 2000 penny was made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, typically weighing about 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters, and produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, and sometimes San Francisco mints. But when a coin worth only 1 cent suddenly sells for over $1 million, it's not because it's a normal example, it's because something went drastically wrong during the minting process, or something unique happened after striking that altered its appearance in a way that fascinated the collecting community. And in the case of the 2000 penny worth $1.30 million, we're talking about a blend of ultra-rare errors, pristine condition, and in some cases historical oddities that make it truly one of a kind. So let's dig into these errors, starting with one of the most sought after, the double die obverse, where during the hubbing process, the design elements on the obverse of the coin are impressed twice slightly out of alignment, creating a doubling effect most visible in the inscriptions like Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 2000, and when this doubling is bold and clear to the naked eye, collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts, especially if the coin is in an uncirculated or proof-like state. And another type of error that could make a 2000 penny worth millions is an off-metal strike, which occurs when a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. For example, a penny struck on a dime planchet would be smaller, lighter, and often missing parts of the design because the dies were meant for a larger surface area, creating a visually striking and obvious minting blunder. And then there's the possibility of a transitional error, where a coin from the year 2000 might have been struck using a planchet leftover from a previous composition, which can happen when the mint inadvertently uses old stock, and such coins often have distinctive weights or metallic signatures that can be verified through tests, instantly making them rarities. And yet another valuable mistake involves Broad strikes or coins struck out of collar, where the retaining collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking fails, allowing the metal to spread out, creating a wider, flattened coin without a proper rim. And this type of error combined with a perfect strike and eye-catching appearance can be very appealing to collectors. But even beyond these mechanical minting errors, condition plays a massive role in value, because a 2000 penny with an error is far more valuable if it is in mint state or proof condition, graded by services like PCGS or NGC at MS 67 or higher, with flawless surfaces, strong luster, and no signs of wear. And the market for such coins can be intense because advanced collectors are always chasing top population specimens, meaning the highest graded known examples, and when an error coin is also the finest known, its value can skyrocket beyond logical expectations, and in some extremely rare instances, coins have been found with multiple errors layered together, such as a double die obverse combined with an off-center strike or struck on the wrong planchet, and these multiple error coins are like lightning in a bottle, accidents so improbable that they may have occurred only once or twice, making them essentially unique, and uniqueness in numismatics almost always translates to astronomical value, especially when two or more high-demand errors coexist on the same coin. But part of what also makes the 2001 Center Southwest interesting to collectors is that it falls into a period of high mintage but also relatively advanced minting technology, meaning that major errors were supposed to be rare, and when they do happen in such an era, they stand out even more, because the US Mint had by then implemented stricter quality control procedures, automated inspections, and more precise die-making processes, so when a blatant mistake escapes into circulation, it's both a testament to chance and a story of how even the most advanced systems can't achieve perfection. And for investors, the appeal of a coin like the 2000 penny worth $1.3 million lies in its combination of rarity, condition, and narrative, because collectors aren't just buying a piece of metal, they're buying a tangible piece of minting history, a curiosity that sparks conversations and draws attention at auctions. And speaking of auctions, some of the highest prices realized for such coins have come from competitive bidding wars where determined collectors refuse to let a piece slip away, driving the final hammer price to unexpected heights, especially when the coin has been publicized beforehand in numismatic circles. And provenance, the history of a coin's ownership, can further boost value, because if a coin was once part of a famous collection or was featured in well-known publications, it carries an added prestige. And even though to the untrained eye a 2000 penny might look like any other, seasoned collectors know exactly what details to look for, such as doubling under magnification, weight anomalies, unusual coloration from wrong metal content, or striking characteristics that indicate something unusual happened at the mint. And some examples are found entirely by accident in pocket change, estate lots, or old jars of coins, turning ordinary people into overnight owners of life-changing numismatic treasures, which is why coin roll hunting remains a popular hobby, as the idea that you could find a penny worth over $1 million for face value is an irresistible dream. And while not every 2000 penny is a jackpot, the possibility keeps collectors searching, checking dates, inspecting mint marks, and scrutinizing surfaces under magnifying lenses, because the thrill of discovery is part of the charm. And the 2001 cent coin story reminds us that value in coins is not just about age, as many might assume, but about rarity, demand, and the specifics of production. And when all those elements line up, an ultra-rare error, immaculate preservation, and a strong collector base, you end up with something as extraordinary as a penny worth $1.3 million. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual hobbyist, or just someone curious about how such a small piece of change could be worth a fortune, the lesson here is clear. Every coin has a story, every pocket of change is a potential treasure chest, and sometimes, even in the most unlikely year and denomination, the perfect storm of factors can create a numismatic legend hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right person to recognize its true worth. And that is why the 2001 cent coin with the right combination of minting errors and pristine condition stands as one of the most fascinating and valuable modern coins in U.S. history, a reminder that history, rarity, and the quirks of human and mechanical imperfection can turn a simple cent into $1 million marvel. Last, now we deep dive into one of the most surprising and fascinating modern coin stories, the tale of the 2015 Lincoln 1 cent that has stunned collectors and coin enthusiasts across the globe by commanding an estimated value of $500,000 despite its humble face value of a single penny, a story that combines the allure of minting errors, the thrill of rare discoveries, and the fascination with how something so ordinary in appearance to the untrained eye can be hiding details that transform it into One of the most valuable modern error coins in the world, and as we journey together into the specifics of this rare treasure, we'll explore not only the types of errors and mistakes that make this coin so desirable but also the conditions that could have allowed such an extraordinary specimen to leave the mint, the circumstances surrounding its discovery, and the unique features that elevate its status among serious collectors, because when it comes to numismatics, especially with modern coins, like the 2015 cent, the blend of rarity, demand, and story can turn even a recent issue into a sought-after masterpiece. And to appreciate this coin's remarkable value, we need to start by remembering that the 2015 Lincoln cent, struck at various U.S. mint facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, was produced in enormous quantities, numbering into the billions, and the standard coin features Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield designed by Lyndall Bass on the reverse, and given such mass production, the idea that one coin could stand out as worth $500,000 seems almost absurd until we examine the incredibly rare set of factors that led to the creation of this one-of-a-kind piece, beginning with its most obvious anomaly, an extreme double-die obverse so dramatic that the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 2015, all show significant, clear doubling visible without magnification, giving the coin a ghostly, almost three-dimensional appearance that immediately draws the eye. And this is not the mild machine doubling sometimes seen on mass-produced cents but a true double die created during the hubbing process, meaning the die itself had the double design engraved into it before striking any coins, making it a repeatable but extremely rare and valuable variety. And while a double die on its own could make a coin desirable, this 2015 cent takes rarity to another level because it was also struck on a misaligned planchet that is both off-center and possibly a wrong planchet entirely, with weight measurements coming in slightly lower than the standard 2.5 grams for modern zinc cents, suggesting the possibility that the blank used may have been intended for a foreign coin or a different U.S. denomination such as a dime, which would account for its slightly reduced diameter and unusual metal flow during striking, and the off-center strike on this coin is extreme enough that part of the design, particularly on the reverse shield, is missing entirely, leaving a large blank crescent of metal that perfectly frames the remaining design and makes the coin's error immediately apparent. But what's even more extraordinary is that the strike is also rotated, meaning that if you flip the coin from obverse to reverse, the alignment is off by a significant number of degrees, adding yet another layer of complexity to its already astonishing list of minting errors. And as if that weren't enough, the coin's surface shows evidence of improper die preparation, with visible die polish lines and even a faint clash mark from the dies striking each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly outlines of design elements from the opposite side faintly imprinted in areas they should not appear, a rare and highly prized error among specialists, and these multiple errors occurring simultaneously is not something that happens often, especially in the highly automated, quality-controlled environment of the modern U.S. Mint, which makes this coin's escape into circulation all the more baffling and intriguing, and the possibilities for how such a coin could be produced and released are fascinating to consider, with theories ranging from an unintentional lapse in quality control during a high-speed production run to the idea that certain error coins occasionally slip through intentionally, either as a result of human oversight or as a deliberate but unauthorized action by Mint employees aware of the collector value of such pieces. And while the true origin may never be known, what is certain is that this particular 2015 cent combines multiple major errors: extreme double die obverse, off-center strike, rotated die alignment, possible wrong planchet, die clash, and die polish marks, into one coin, creating a unique and irreplaceable specimen. And in the world of numismatics, this kind of combination rarity commands astronomical prices because it appeals to multiple segments of the collecting community: double die enthusiasts, planchet error collectors, off-center strike aficionados, and those who specialize in major mint blunders. And when a coin can attract interest from so many different types of collectors, competition for ownership becomes intense, which in turn drives prices higher. And the market for such coins is not just limited to traditional numismatists but also includes investors, museums, and even wealthy hobbyists who see in such a piece not only its monetary value but also its historical significance as a product of the U.S. Mint's complex and occasionally imperfect manufacturing process. And what makes this coin particularly interesting is that it comes from such a recent year, because while many collectors expect six-figure price tags for ancient rarities or coins from the 18th and 19th centuries, it's much less common to see a penny minted within the past decade reach this kind of valuation. And that speaks to the sheer uniqueness of the errors present here, as even the most advanced minting technology cannot completely eliminate the possibility of extraordinary mistakes, and when those mistakes happen in such an extreme and visually obvious way, they create coins that are destined to become legends in their own right. And the $500,000 estimate attached to this coin reflects not just its rarity but also its condition, as the example in question has been preserved in near-perfect uncirculated state, showing no significant wear and maintaining sharp, crisp details despite its unusual strike characteristics, suggesting that it was likely pulled from circulation almost immediately after discovery, perhaps by an eagle-eyed collector or someone casually inspecting their change who noticed something unusual and decided to have it examined. And once authenticated by a leading third-party grading service, the coin was recognized for the treasure it is. Given an appropriate mint-era designation, and entered into the realm of elite modern rarities, where it remains today as one of the most valuable post-2010 pennies known, and its existence serves as a reminder to all of us that treasures can still be found in everyday life, that extraordinary value can sometimes be hiding in the most ordinary of places, and that the art and science of coin collecting is as much about curiosity and attention to detail as it is about history and rarity. Because without someone willing to look closely, to ask why a coin looks strange, to research and authenticate, this 2015 cent could easily have remained just another penny in the vast ocean of billions of cents produced that year, and for those who dream of making a life-changing discovery in their pocket change, stories like this are the fuel that keeps the search alive, because in the world of coins, you never truly know what you might find next, and that is the magic of numismatics, the thrill of the hunt, and the reason why a small, copper-plated zinc disc from 2015 can command a price tag that rivals fine art, rare gemstones, and historic artifacts, making it not only a financial asset but a tangible piece of minting history that will continue to captivate, inspire, and astonish collectors for generations to come.